Thank you, everybody, for being here. Obviously, tomorrow is the anniversary of the Key Bridge collapse, but today is the anniversary of six families who had their lives changed forever when they lost people. So the governor and I just were out on the road with the families and allowing them to reflect, but also to remember their lost ones by placing wreaths out into the water. Obviously, it's a heavy situation, but even in the midst having to face the bridge head on, you could see that these folks are so strong and so dedicated and love their loved ones, but also wanted to remember and honor them in a way. And we know that since that moment, we've done everything in that vein to remember first those people that we lost and those families that are on that boat who lost someone and who will never be the same. And that's what today is about. And that's what it's been about every step of the way, through all the money that we raised to help the families, over millions of dollars to help the families, to helping the businesses. But today was about those people, those families on that water being able to honor their loved ones. Let's go.
I just want to first just thank the mayor and all the leadership that he and this team has continued to show. This has been a remarkably traumatic year for the state, but none more traumatic than these families who we were with earlier. They all received news a year ago that none of us would ever want to receive. And these are some of the first faces that we saw when we were down here a year ago. Some of our first moments were actually spending time with the families and praying with the families, talking with the families, hearing from them. And so to be out there now today with them, laying wreaths in the water, once again having an opportunity to say goodbye to their loved ones. There's no place that's more appropriate to commemorate the anniversary of one of the most traumatic moments in our state's history, than to be out here with the families, to be out here with so many of the first responders and the teams, to understand that there were 6 Marylanders who we lost that day, and everything that has happened in that past year, it starts and it ends with them. It starts and ends with their families, and just making sure that we did everything in our power to be able to bring them the closure and the comfort that they needed and that they deserved. So we continue to mourn for them, and we continue to really demonstrate that this was a moment where our state and our city really stepped up collectively together and wrapped our arms around each other, because that's exactly what this crisis demanded.
Questions? Yeah.
Governor, could you walk us through sort of your thoughts as you were approaching the bridge site today, and tell us about some of the conversations you were having with some of the
I was telling the mayor when we were out there, it doesn't get easier and it doesn't get simpler. As soon as you come up and you look up and you see the size and the enormity. I was telling the mayor that before I couldn't imagine what the skyline looked like without the Key Bridge. And then there was a long period of time I couldn't imagine what the skyline looked like without the dolly sitting in the middle of the channel. And it was a moment when you think back and you reflect about how proud we are of the way that the city and the state mobilized, the way that this state took care of each other. That this state wrapped its arms around our people, from the private sector to the military, to state and federal and local. I mean, Maryland really put on a case study on how a community responds in a time of crisis, and how we can move all the bureaucracy out of the way and just get back to the human need and the human element. But I also know that the pain that so many of these families are feeling, that is still real. We were talking with families out on the boat. One woman who was just continuing to thank us for giving her final moments with her husband, because she's saying, how thankful she was just to be able to have the body back. speaking with another child of one of the victims, who was just saying, still to this day, she still cannot get a good night's sleep. Like, these families are still going through it, and the pain is still very real. And so I'm thankful for the way that this city and this state responded to the crisis. I also know that for these families that trauma is still very real, and that pain is still very apparent.
Bill?
You guys get the sense, I know they say that time heals all wounds. Do you think there's some sense of healing throughout this process? I know tomorrow is going to be a tough day for a lot of people. Maybe some sense that there is some healing going on?
I think that for those families in particular, it's going to be a ongoing, lifelong thing. You never truly heal from something like that, and that's why we have to continue to be there to support them, right? I think that it's a different feel than it was last year. Last year, it was a feel of hopelessness, right? They know that they're loved and supported, but this is never going to be easy for them. They're never going to get their loved one back, right? And even though they know that they have that support, they're going to be days where they need us more than they need us on other days. And I think that that's really the mode that we should be in, and understanding. But as a city, obviously we think that we have recovery is well underway, right? And we, as the governor said, we've shown the rest of the country how you lead in a crisis. But it's still going to be ongoing for all of us. But never will it be a regular day for those families. And we all have to root ourselves in that and be reminded of that. And that's why we have to be here to support them ongoing.
Can you share more about how this actual memorial came to be? We reached out to you. Did the families express interest in doing something to mark the anniversary?
Well, we reached out to them. I told my staff I thought it was appropriate that if I'm going to be out on the water, that we have the families come out, and I said that we should lay wreaths and allow them to do just that. Because for me, I was raised in a family where I was taught that when people go through something, everything is about them, and your job is to be there to help and support them. So that's what I wanted today to be about, and many of them said yes, they would love to do that. And I think for us, that's what this was about, allowing them to have the moments that they needed to connect with their loved ones, to get whatever emotion they needed to get out, right? To be there to just have that conversations with each other. And we're just thankful to the governor, to our teams at the fire department, the police department, everyone that helped make that happen. MEMA, the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs, to help make that happen for them.
Do you know if this was the first time that any of them went out to the site?
I would assume so for most of them.
The last Father's Day,
They were out there.
we took some of the families out. Were out there, so they had a chance to spend some time in the water the last Father's Day.
Okay, thank you, everybody. We're going to conclude there. Thank you.
Sir, see you later. Appreciate you so much. You all right?